Hello, welcome back again.
Hello.
Welcome to another episode of Pumped Up Tea. I'm Taylor.
I'm Sara.
And we are back after a week off.
Can I just say, I hate when we take a break. I know this break was, like, unforeseen. Obviously, like, I hated that for you. But, like, a little part of me was like, it felt like I have a hole in my heart this week because we didn't film and I missed you.
Oh, I know. I hated it for myself as well.
It was a hole. It was very sad. But we're back. We're back.
For those who don't know, we had to take off last week. I had a very unfortunate death in the family, and I had to make the arrangements for the funeral. Some of you guys have been keeping up with Instagram and everything and have sent me such really sweet and kind messages.
That was so nice.
And I appreciate every single one of you for doing that. It was so nice. Yes. It was very sweet. But I'm ready to be back and recap some more Vanderpump Rules because we have a lot to talk about.
We do. Also, shout out to everyone who wished me happy birthday on Monday.
Yeah.
You guys are so sweet. And I felt very loved by the interwebs, I'm not gonna lie.
I know. That was such a weird, like...
it was a weird week. We literally, like, celebrated my birthday, and the next day she, like, left. It was a weird mix of, like, yay, and then sad.
Well, it's funny that you say that, too, because even before the birthday, I had a wedding that weekend, too.
Yes. Literally, the day, 2 days before. It was a very busy week for Tay-Tay.
So, literally last week was, like, Saturday was my really good friend's wedding. Sunday was just another day. Monday was your birthday.
Yes.
And then Tuesday we went and flew off to Maine so we could do the other not so fun stuff. Yeah. So it's been a jam-packed week. Yes. I kind of mentioned in the podcast a couple weeks ago too. It was like this was a long marathon that I was anticipating, and a marathon it was.
Well, we're good now. Do you guys see our new prop?
Yes. So thank you to Vanderpod Recaps, by the way, for posting on your story that the Single as Fuck cocktail book had been on sale on Amazon. I had never run to Amazon so fast.
It was a surprise. I literally just walked into our set and I saw it and I died.
And that's why I filmed it. I think I'm going to post a reel about it.
Please do.
Just for funsies, just to see what the reaction was. But oh my god, it was
beautiful.
I did not tell Sara at all, so I've been holding on to this book for days now, and I've just been waiting for her to come by.
Yeah, she texted me yesterday because it's Tuesday night, guys. We're filming literally post episode. Last couple weeks we've been filming Wednesdays. Today we're filming post episode. So we were very excited to be like hanging out and watch the episode together because we haven't in a couple weeks. And we were talking about what we were going to do tonight. And she's like, oh, I have a surprise for you. And my anxious brain was like, oh, no. What is it? What happened? And then I walk in the room and it's just fancy AM. Look at how stunning this woman is. Look at her. The photos in this book, guys, I died. Dead. We're going to have to make some cocktails coming up.
We're going to have to. I think we'll start.
Finale night, we should make a cocktail from the book.
Well, that's probably in a week, 2 weeks?
I think it's 2 weeks, yes. Because obviously next week, by that, they would have said if next week was. True. I think it's the week after next week. And then we'll have the 3-part reunion. So
because Max and I were traveling, we, of course, took this opportunity to go on, a full-on, Vanderpump binge.
I love this.
So we basically started season 10 right before we left.
Slay.
And so we basically, made our whole way through season 10 throughout the weekend that we were gone.
That. Well, what else are you gonna do? It's a sad environment. You need trashy television to make you feel better.
Well, there was a lot of downtime.
That's the thing with traveling funerals. It's the funeral is a 4-hour event, and the rest of the time you're just
Well, and not even just that, right? But we were all the way for those of you guys who are living in the north. We were all the way up in Caribou, Maine.
She was with my guys. I'm so convinced that we are related somehow because where you went is literally where my mom's freaking family is from.
Your family's from Caribou?
Up in that area, Fort Kent, Caribou, St. John.
No shit.
Yes, my mom is so Canadian. You have no idea. Yeah, no. You told me where you were going, and I was like, we're fucking related.
Yeah. So for those who might not know, Caribou, Maine is so far up north in Maine that the Canada border is right next door.
You can it's up there.
Let's get over and talk some tea of the week.
Yes, we switched roles. She got the tea this week. I have the notes from last week's episode. We did a little switcheroo.
I know. We've got a long list of tea here too. So I'm going to try and breeze past some of it as best as I can here.
I'm going to try and keep my focus. The Rangers have 13 minutes left in the third period. So.
Oh, jeez.
Any Rangers fans out there? No quit in New York, am I right?
So, okay. Past 2 weekends have been Coachella weekends.
Yes.
This is really nice to note because James Kennedy, our boy James Kennedy, he got to perform for Taylor Swift. At Coachella.
Obviously, as a major Swiftie, I'm wearing my cardigan. I saw the clip of her reacting to James playing Cruel Summer, and it was so adorable because she's like sitting next to Travis, she's like singing her song, and all of a sudden he does that like DJ thing, you like drop the beat or whatever, and it goes to like some like like thing, and she like looks so confused for a second, like what is happening? And then she's like, oh wait, it's a vibe.
She's like, oh right, I'm at Coachella.
Yeah. Taylor at Coachella was not on my bingo list this year. James performing at Coachella was not on my bingo list, but I love this for him.
Yeah.
He finally feels I'm thinking of playing Coachella one day. I'm dreaming big things.
And this is great, you know, coming off of the heels of Tom being like, go push some buttons on your laptop.
Oh my God, from last week, yeah.
Go push some buttons on your laptop.
I have notes on that.
We'll push some buttons over at Coachella. How about that, bitch? While you're still playing at the fucking Wolf's Den in Mohegan Sun.
Dead.
So Chef Penny is no longer working with Something About Her, as confirmed by Katie.
Drop the Something About Her news right now.
I guess, right? We can't really bring up Something About Her without mentioning that. We just found out just about an hour ago.
That right before the episode.
Something About Her now has an official open date for May 22nd of this year. So that's pretty exciting. Congratulations, Ariana and Katie.
Yay! I had faith this whole time. I know the conspiracies online were afloating that it was for a plot line, but like, who's gonna pay rent in LA for a plot line?
$8,000 a month, too.
That's what I'm saying. I love this for them. It's going to be fantastic.
I put up a poll, too, because I really wasn't sure what the deal was going to be, but I kind of wonder if, like, the trademark had anything to do with that.
Oh,
Katie says
I'm
no,
sure.
but,
I'm sure in some sort of capacity.
Because think about it, right? Penny's not working for them anymore. Now, all of a sudden, they have an open date.
Oh.
I have suspicions.
Oh, that she was the one holding it up this whole time?
Maybe.
Interesting.
There seem to have been some whispers in the wind that she's just been...
Well, she trademarked it.
She trademarked it, but she's also been trying to, like, take the reins a little bit. And we saw a little bit of that during the season when they did their interviews. Yes.
Well, I was going to say, she trademarked it under her company, though. Mm-hmm. Like, you didn't just she trademarked it under her, like, thing.
Put a fork in it, LLC, yeah.
Which is kind of fucking shady. It's a little sus.
It is very sus.
I didn't like that. Because it's not... Oh. It's Maxie.
Hi, Max. You want to come say hi?
Yeah. Come be on the pod.
Yeah, come show your face.
We talk about you enough. There he is.
If I come on, Roxy has to come on.
Listen, she's already made several appearances.
She's just not tall enough. She's just not tall enough to like make it on camera. No, but she's here at least once an episode.
No, she's a stump. That's why.
My poor stump.
She's a stump.
I was talking earlier about how we are kind of just breezing through season 10.
It's a roller coaster. For a guy that pats himself on the back for his masculinity, I think it's hilarious that Sandoval cannot admit that he's wrong, and he keeps trying to dance around the apology, like a proper apology to Ariana. I mean, Schwartz does the same thing too. Yeah, Schwartz does the same thing. Jax literally does the same thing. I think the three of them are their own little merry band of idiots.
These men are all one and the same.
Yeah. And they boast about how they have like the highest regard for themselves, but watching them just lie and cheat.
Terribly, mind you.
Really liars. Terribly.
Yeah. No, really, they're the worst liars I've ever seen in my life.
It gets really tiresome, and you're just like, just stop with the lying. Just stop with the lying. Yeah. Just admit it. Like a lot of celebrities, a lot of male celebrities have cheated and lied, and they're just like, I did it, so just own it.
Oopsies.
Just own it.
Oh, my bad, guys.
Just own it. Just fucking own it. And that's my input.
All right,
Max has spoken.
Max has spoken.
Oh.
All right, back to the tea.
So Joe went on a wild Instagram live this past week.
Girly, let him go. Delulu.
Who is she speaking to? Herself?
Jalolo to the max.
Unbelievable. Like she talked about the reunion. She talked about how Schwartz is her other half.
Oh my god!
She thinks that in due time they're gonna get back together. Like
delusional.
She's saying all this while he's in a new relationship.
While he's on another podcast talking about this relationship and then how much he adores this girl.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I don't like saying. I know I say Delulu a lot, and I know I say it jokingly. Right, 99% of the time when I'm on here saying Delulu, I'm being silly, right? But like, I literally mean it with Joe. Like, she's delusional. Like, he didn't pick you.
Yeah.
He didn't pick you. It's giving like Billy Lee, but like times 10.
I feel weird only because of the fact that like we were just like standing up for Joe a couple weeks ago, and then we see this, and it's like, oh.
That's how I feel with this entire freaking show. Sometimes it's like I'm just about to be in this person's corner, and then I feel like I get reality TV whiplash because then like 2 seconds later it's like slap in the face.
Like,
JK,
wait, what the fuck?
What the fuck are you saying? And then she had a moment. I just saw this earlier today. I don't know who posted it. It was TikTok. It was Instagram. It was Reddit. I don't know. They were talking about the Katie's comment about her being a crackhead, and she like gets up from this Instagram live and like has like a whole emotional like thing.
Oh, I heard about it. I didn't actually watch it. I've only seen bits and pieces of the live, but
yeah, I've only seen clips of it. But
yeah.
it was giving cuckoo bananas.
Yeah, very very cuckoo bananas.
It was giving exactly what Katie has been saying.
Yeah.
Which is a little psychotic.
Mm-hmm. A little insane, but it's fine.
A little, yeah. It was a little much, Joe. It was a little much. If he wanted to be with you, he would. If he wanted to, he would. And I know that people say that a lot. But
it's true.
It's true. If he wanted to be with her, he would be. He would be. He would have been with you from the start.
Yeah.
Take the clue, okay? And just
let him go.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Just go to jail.
So while we're on the topic of Joe, we'll transition. Okay. Kyle Chan was on Kristen Doug's podcast talking about how Schwartz didn't really want to see Joe anymore because of lies that she has told. Schwartz himself was on the Vile Files podcast as well, kind of hinting that something happened to make him want to stop seeing Joe.
Okay.
And Kyle Chan said that she was off telling a lie somewhere. So
interesting.
Not sure what that means. I'm not really sure.
Well, so far
we're hinting at.
We've clocked that she lied that she's licensed in California. She lied that she works at this salon. She's lied about being involved in the affair.
This is true. What else did she lie about?
That's 3 right there that we have factual evidence of.
Mm-hmm.
She had some kind of fallout with Kristen.
Oh, of course.
Pre-moving in with Tom.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be on her side. But she's just making it very difficult.
Making it very hard.
Very hard.
But Kyle Chan also said on Kristen's podcast that Rachel suing Ariana will not find her peace. And that seems to have been a very direct message to her.
Yes.
Which, it's not.
It's not.
It's not
no. It's the only thing that is going to give Rachel peace is
shutting down her podcast.
Shutting down her podcast, letting this go, and just finally fully taking responsibility for what she did, because she keeps skirting around, well, I did this, but.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Let go of the but and just say, I did this.
Oh, but Tom did this. Look over there. Look at what he did. Yeah.
She takes responsibility, but in the next breath is negating that responsibility because somebody else did it.
Maybe her and Tom are meant to be together.
They are the same person. I'm convinced. So, like, that's the only thing that's going to give her peace is when you finally let something go. Like, you have to disengage. You have to unattach yourself.
Yep.
And that's the only way she's going to be able to move on and stop being stuck in this doom cycle. She advocates for her mental health, that it's not good for her mental health, but she's dwelling in it. And that's not going to change. And you're not going to get over it until you remove yourself 100% from this thing.
And she's obviously still actively watching Vanderpump Rules. And I get what she's saying in the sense of, okay, well, I'm still a topic of conversation, so it's only normal for me to want to defend myself.
But you had the opportunity. You had that opportunity.
Exactly. She should have just gone back on the show.
Yes, yeah. You should have just gone back on the show. And that's why I feel like that mental health excuse of her not going on is bullshit.
Well, now we see that.
Now we see it's bullshit because you are talking about it every single week on your podcast. You keep bringing it up. It's clearly you wanted to say your piece.
She wanted to say her piece in a way where nobody can challenge her on it.
Exactly. I really do. And I really do think that I guarantee you it's like a 60-40, 70-30 where she wanted the Ariana paycheck. It's like the majority of the reason why she didn't come back is because they wouldn't pay her what she thought she deserved. I say in air quotes.
Yeah.
And the other part was that, yes, her therapist and her family was telling her it's not good for her mental health.
Yeah.
And I guarantee the majority of the reason why she didn't come back was because she didn't get the money that she deserved.
Yeah. I think that's also the case.
Yeah.
We do have more on Rachel, but we're gonna take a quick pivot away from her for just a second because we just want to like get through a lot of this tea.
Yeah.
Because it's been piping hot this week.
Really, I know. I was so overwhelmed by all of it.
Scheana had very briefly followed and then very quickly unfollowed Tom Sandoval's girlfriend, Victoria.
Yes.
And the internet sleuths were very quick with it.
The subreddits were on fire because we clocked it and we were like, this is weird. Like, everyone was giving her shit for it. And then Scheana is a queen of needing validation. Like, she is chronically online. She's in her mentions, as she has mentioned this
many
season.
times.
Many times.
Yep.
Even just this one season. I guarantee you she saw the flack that she was getting and then quickly, was like, oh, oopsies. Whoop, my bad.
I think I saw that from Bravo Buds. So, Bravo Buds, thank you. Love you. You are also great. But yeah, Scheana, I think, is very, very quick to kind of fall in line with whatever the crowd wants her to do, and that's become very clear just from watching the season, just from seeing how she kind of moves now and how she talks in the after show, and which I need to catch up on, by the way. I've kind of fallen behind a couple weeks on the after show. I
have a really hard time watching the after show. It's just so hard. It's so hard to watch them have these takes that they think are so great, and I literally want to bash my head into a wall.
And what about Ariana thinks now?
Okay, somebody had said either she had said it in an interview or somewhere. I think it was this past when she was doing that thing in LA where she was saying she didn't
LA Times Book Festival event or something like that.
She had said, I think Ariana had said that because of the way that Broadway was running, she didn't have the time to watch literally any of the episodes.
I believe that.
Until very recently. So she had gone into the reunion, not really knowing anything that happened. She watched, and that's why they watched the finale together at the reunion.
Oh my God.
Because Ariana hadn't seen it because of her Broadway schedule. So she is just now seeing what is happening. And I think that is a big reason why, number one, she didn't see Scheana at when Scheana went to the closing, I think it was closing night or the week after closing. Yeah. Why? Because she had just found out all of these things that she didn't know for weeks because she was just so busy. Like a Broadway schedule, you're not going to have time. You're not going to have time.
That makes sense.
You know, she's like, it is what it is.
She was definitely she did say in the interview, she was expecting the season to go another way. Like, she thought the season was one way when it was filming, and then obviously she watched it back when it was aired, after it had aired, and realized, oh, this is not at all what was being said to me. So,
and that's in that same. She had been catching up, and she's been seeing, and now she's like,
oof.
Oh, they were not actually supportive.
Sick.
Yeah, that's got to be so hard too, because it's like, and that must have been really hard to go into that reunion too, because she didn't know anything.
She literally had no idea.
No idea. And then to come out of that and be like, what the fuck? All of these people I thought that were my friends and were on my side were actually not. That's got to be almost as worse a betrayal, as bad of a betrayal as Tom and Rachel.
It's just weird to see where everybody's priorities lie, man.
So weird.
So fucking weird. Even now, still watching it.
I just don't understand.
But anyways, we'll do a very quick Vanderpump to the Valley pivot. I have not been watching, by the way, the last couple of weeks. I'll be honest. I just kind of questioned myself, I think, every week that I've watched it so far, and be like, why am I watching this show? Why am I watching this show? I'm done. I'm not going to watch it anymore. I do see that they're going to film a reunion. Maybe if something crazy happens by the finale, maybe I'll catch up and watch it again. But as of right now, I don't.
No, we didn't even watch tonight. We literally turned it off and came right to the mics.
But I will say, because I've already talked about them once before, so I will talk about them again. Michelle Lally, from the Valley, apparently has come out with a new boyfriend. Okay. In the midst of her separation with Jesse. Apparently he also has a new girlfriend as well. So they were kind of both out and about with their partners on Instagram the other day. But her boyfriend is Aaron Nosler. I don't really know how to pronounce that. But he's a financial advisor and director at Thrivent, which I don't really know. I went to Google it, and then I honestly just
it's LA. You know how many production companies there are in LA?
I don't even know what the company is. I don't really care what it is, but that's that. And also Brittany.
Yes.
We're going to talk about Brittany. Brittany has blocked Jax and their publicist.
It was a full block? I thought it was just an unfollow.
Well, because it looked like they had all unfollowed each other, which is why there's reason that we suspect she had been blocking both Jax and their publicist Lori Kay.
Well, he's very clearly having an affair with Lori. Let's be honest.
I mean, it's crazy too. And I was just telling Max about this the other day. I was like, what was it? Maybe a few months ago now at this point, they had posted that picture in Montreal because they were all at a work outing. And that picture made people kind of be like,
we talked about it on here. I told you that was not those, I told you, that's people that I was right, guys. I feel vindicated.
It had come out in a blind item that they apparently left early to go into the bathroom, one of Jax's favorite, most romantic spots, as we had seen in the past with Stassi, with Laura Lee. I'm sure probably with Brittany at one point when she was at SUR.
He's probably been doing it for months out of his own bar.
Oh, yeah.
Before the separation was even...
Which would make sense as to why Brittany and Kristen didn't find anything on him. That explains why she didn't find anything on his phone. And
I've been telling you that.
Yeah.
He's just hooking up with guys. I mean...
Where's John at?
I was just about to say that. But I was telling you, he's a little bit smarter about it than Tom, right? He's going to do faceless, nameless girls that are coming into his bar solely to say that they saw Jax Taylor. And he's going to bring her in the bathroom, and there's no numbers exchanged. There's nothing.
Yeah.
And unless one of those employees is going to tell Brittany, it is never going to be known. Unless someone caught it on a camera or someone took a photo. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how he's been getting it on. You're telling me that the self-proclaimed sex addict is out here on his...
If the squirrel had a pussy,
I hate saying his show, but is on... the show that he is on, talking about how he hasn't had sex with his wife for a year. The self-proclaimed sex addict is telling me that he hasn't had sex in a year. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit. That man said he'd fuck a squirrel, okay? Come on.
It's just wild. And then the last piece of tea that I have for this week, or I guess the last 2 weeks, whatever you feel comfortable with, but we have an update actually on Rachel and Sandoval's lawsuit.
Yes, today
Yep. Tom's lawyer had argued that Rachel stated in her podcast, and I'm paraphrasing here. I'm not reading verbatim what it said on the form, but Tom's lawyer argues that because Rachel stated in her podcast that so many people knew about the affair, that means the video that he took of her does not count as confidential and therefore is accessible to the public. And that's based off of the eavesdropping charge that she put in her original complaint. So
yes. The argument, I think I texted this to you today. The argument is trash. The argument is so dumb. It's so dumb. Just because people knew about the affair doesn't mean you have permission to record someone's sex video without their consent.
I hope the judge is a female. Oh, I said it and now it reminded me.
Yeah.
The judge was originally a female and then
he got it. Didn't he say that?
He put in a complaint saying that there was going to be some sort of prejudice or something along those lines.
Yes, I think we mentioned this last week.
We'll start with Vanderpump Rules season 11 episode 12 recap. I literally did not take notes.
I did.
Because I was literally sitting at the airport I was watching the episode. I was originally supposed to be in the air, but then my flight got delayed by a few hours, so I got to watch it.
Rangers win, besties! Now we're 2 for 2. Let's go!
We are now in game 2, and the Rangers have won.
Oh, hell yeah!
In
New York, baby.
So episode 12.
All right, get my notes out.
Rules.
I'm ready.
We start right away at Kyle Chan's jewelry store because Scheana is filming her Good as Gold music video.
Yes.
Good as Gold, Screamo, fucking slaps.
Fucking slaps. All right, my notes on this scene were Scheana questioning Katie's sickness is weird. That doesn't feel like a good friend.
I thought the same exact thing.
That feels really... I would never... If you're telling... You can't come to something, you're telling me you're sick. In what universe am I being like, Taylor's lying to me?
Because it was fresh off of that argument after Lala went to dinner with Joe. But still, it's just
Katie.
Giving, like...
It's Katie. When has Katie ever avoided conflict?
I feel like Katie seems like the type of person that would just go ghost and just not even bother responding if she didn't want. She'd just say, I don't want to go. Bye.
She would be honest if I don't want to go.
Right.
Yeah. And then my other note on that scene is this music video is stupid. And then it's her saying, 10 years later, I'd be doing... who would know 10 years later I'm doing a music video? And my note on that is, thank Ariana for bringing it back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because without Sandoval and
nobody would have been listening to it.
Nobody would have been listening to it. Because didn't they use it in the Uber Eats?
Yes, they did.
Yeah. Savings!
And she plugged her vinyl for it as well.
And then my other comment on Blonder Scheana is adorable. I love the more she put more highlights in, and it's such a good tone. She looks adorable. She looked great in that scene, but her vibe was not great.
Time frame of when this was going on. Rachel's podcast with Bethany had just come out.
my next note in all caps is the Bethany podcast.
The Bethany podcast had officially rocked the nation. It was Rachel's first time speaking out in the public since Sandoval had broken. Since she had gotten out of her mental health facility stint.
Yeah.
And we're back to seeing Sad Boy Tom because of it.
Yes.
Which was, again, stupid.
I have a quote here, and I didn't finish this note, and it's pissing me off now, but the quote was, I didn't think shit of Ariana, and I think this was Ariana talking about the way Rachel was talking about her on that podcast.
Also, she was annoyingly quick to be posting on Instagram, I noticed that night. Clips from the episode.
She was ready.
But it didn't do anything because everything that she was like reposting claimed.
Yes.
They said that Rachel never loved Sandoval. And that ended up being exactly what she said on the podcast. It just wasn't word for word what she said. Like they paraphrased her, but it was still the same thing. She basically confirmed what they were saying.
She did. And then her trying to say that her and Ariana weren't friends. And Ariana, I believe, in this episode had receipts. And I think the girls even were saying when they were talking about it at the Good as Gold thing, that, like, you stayed at her house. She stayed at your house. You went to her final pageant with her. You were her shoulder to cry on. Like, there's all these receipts as to why Ariana would think that you were not, I don't say best friends, but you were very good friends.
They were very close. They might not be best friends, but they were close.
No, but there were reasons why Ariana thought that they were close.
Yeah.
And you can't deny that.
Yeah.
And even if Rachel herself didn't think that they were close, Ariana did. And it's not fair to invalidate her feelings like that.
Well, it's hard to believe because even last season, she literally said in her confessional,
These are my
forever friends. These are my true friends.
And they put the clip in that episode.
They did.
They did show the receipts, I believe, in the episode.
They did.
Where these are my forever friends. These are my core people.
Like, she wouldn't just make that up because a producer told her to say that.
No, she felt it in the moment, but now that it's no longer serving her narrative, she has to change it. Well, I didn't really think that highly of Ariana. I didn't really care that much. So, like, it's okay that I tried to steal her man. It's
that good old revisionist history.
Yes. That's why her and Tom are perfect together. But then in that was the Scheana talking about Rachel living with her, giving her money. You told me to put this in my notes so we could talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
She gave Scheana money for rent, ? Had sex in Sheena's bed, puking emoji.
Which she has said many times.
That's disgusting. Rachel also doesn't buy toilet paper. It's a match made in heaven. And then right after that was Tom. I wrote Tim. Tom asking James to open for his cover band is hilarious.
Oh, that was a great scene.
Yep. And then asking Ariana about using the house while bashing her about it behind her back is gross.
Really gross.
It's really gross.
And again, she has a fucking house. Film in that house.
Yeah, she had a Palm Springs house. You could have done your sperm party at the Palm Springs house.
She could have done her water tasting at the Palm Springs house. She could have done...
How far is Palm Springs from LA?
Who the fuck cares?
It's true.
Film at that house.
Yeah.
Let the show pay for all of their Ubers as they do for every outing that they ever go on.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like these guys are taking themselves to these gatherings.
No.
They have cars to
Yes.
take them. Go to fucking Palm Springs. I don't care about LA traffic.
No.
I don't.
No.
I don't. I have no pity. Do it at your own fucking house,
Yes.
Lala.
Sperm donor party is weird. I think I agree. Sperm donor party sounds weird. And then Lala talking about Katie being unhappy to everyone is really gross. You keep saying you're a girl's girl, and you keep saying that you're for your friends, but then you go behind their back and say all of this really shitty things. Katie's miserable. Ariana is full of herself. Blah, 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 blah. Like, I'll get over Lala being herself. So with the Tom thing, where I made changes to myself. And my comment is, bitch, where?
I was going to say, what changes?
Bitch, where?
What changes?
Where?
You stopped drinking for like a couple of months.
You couldn't.
You started screaming into the abyss for one session.
What changes? What's classic narcissist? Look at all the things that I've done to change. You've done shit. You've done shit. His fake tears are stupid. He has no sympathy for me. My mental health storyline is bullshit. And it's bullshit because in that fucking, I think 2 scenes later, this man's wearing a fucking dipped out shirt. You're bitching about everyone capitalizing on this is ruining your mental health. But then you're trying to profit off it yourself by making a shirt that says fucking dipped out.
And a podcast. Don't forget about the podcast.
Get the fuck out of here. Scheana coming over to help. Oh no, and then there was the scene with Scheana coming to quote unquote help Ariana with the house.
Yeah, Scheana and Brock.
And it felt
because they showed Life Without Anne.
It felt very performative. It felt condescending. I didn't like it.
Which is kind of funny, right? Because I was seeing people try to be like, oh my god, look, Sheena's actually being a good friend to Ariana. No. But it's just, I didn't get that feeling like it was genuine.
No, it wasn't. Because if you really wanted to help her, you would have asked, what can I do to help? What do you need? Instead of just going, well, let's clean this table. Oh my god, you have all this. And then in the midst of doing that, dissing on her, being so judgmental. Oh my god, you have this gift from Christmas, you didn't open it yet? Why do you have this from here from over this? And it feels like someone who is looking at someone's quote unquote depression hole and being like, oh my god, your room is so messy. Well, yeah, my brain is dead. My mind is dark, right? She doesn't have, it was just gross. And then in all caps, black confessional look is giving Roxy Hart. Oh, and then we have the scene with Tom and James. James goes to Tom's band rehearsal to tell him he's not going to open for him. Tom singing hurt my ears.
They talk a little bit about, just again, Rachel's podcast. Mm-hmm. And I kind of loved, because I wasn't sure where this conversation was going to go, because they have kind of recently become more chummy with each other. And he's just kind of well, don't forget, she already said she was never in love with you. She really started fucking you because she couldn't get over me. So, and I loved that.
Iconic shit.
Oh, and this was where he made the comment, go push some buttons on your laptop.
Yeah, in that scene, he's saying, I tried to look out for Rachel, and then my comment was, where was this mentality for Ariana, his actual partner? And the things he was saying about himself and Rachel, the things that he's saying that Rachel did to him, she betrayed me, blah, 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 blah. All the things he's saying to James in that scene are literally what he fucking did to Ariana. And it's just so hard to have sympathy for him. Because it's you literally just did that. It's a taste of your own it doesn't feel good, does it?
The consequences of your actions.
But it doesn't feel good, does it? Right? You just did that. You would think in that moment he'd have this moment of clarity of oh, I just did that to someone that I was with. I just did that to my life partner. This is what she must be feeling. But he's not going to do that. He's not going to do that. But everything he's saying in that scene to James, oh, she
used me.
She used me. She lied to me. She betrayed me. Blah, 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 blah. Dude, you literally just did that. And he wants closure. You don't deserve it. But then he goes on to blame Rachel for the affair.
Well, it's funny, right? The way that they talk about it. They both, respectively, are blaming each other.
Yes.
It's it's like the two Spider-Mans pointing at each other.
Yeah. Yeah, he's blaming her for the affair. Which I don't understand this narrative of blaming the other person for the affair. Because it's like, were you like hypnotized? Were you held captive? Were you tied up in a chair and forced? Like, you weren't forced into this. You could have said no.
Well, that seatbelt in the car really just kind of got stuck, and Rachel just had to hop on just to kind of get it off. That's what happened.
I just don't understand that. Blaming her for it. You could have said no. You could have said no.
They could have said a lot of things.
They could have
done a lot of things.
We could have said.
But instead they did a lot of other things.
What I'm saying, you could have said, if you really wanted out with Ariana, you could have said, let's not do this until I am no longer with her. Let's do this the right way. Like, if you really wanted to be with her, you would have done it the right way. But he didn't, because he just wanted the instant gratification. He wanted his pee-pee wet, and somebody was into him. It didn't require effort.
Well, it's like he said last season. The only time I would ever get off is if I was watching porn in the bathroom. He wanted his dick wet. That's it.
Well, that's the thing.
He wanted a fuck buddy.
He wasn't willing to put in the effort in order to get his partner to want to sleep with him. She's not a sex doll, right? She's not just going to sleep with you because you want it. You have to. Ariana seems like the type, and she has said it before, that if she doesn't feel connected to you in a personal, intimate way that has nothing to do with like sex, she can't have sex. She won't.
You can't just come home, whip your dick out, and expect me to be like, yeah, let's fuck.
She said that seasons
word
ago,
word
for word, and he wasn't willing to put in the effort. So instead, he's going to complain that his wife, his girlfriend, is not having sex with him. Well, maybe try. Have you put it, instead of putting in the effort, he's going to have an affair. He calls Rachel selfish in that conversation. She's selfish for leaving the way she did. She's selfish for this podcast, blah, 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 blah.
Rachel said that he called her a sociopath. Oh, fuck.
What?
Rewind.
Oh.
Rachel might have kind of blown up her timeline a little bit on the affair. Did you hear this?
I mean, probably.
So, I don't remember if this was on her most recent podcast episode. I think it was. I believe Reality Ops was the one who posted this on Instagram.
Okay.
It was an audio from her podcast where she said that Tom Sandoval called her a sociopath because of when she was seeing this guy, and he basically called her a sociopath for seeing somebody else while seeing him. Meanwhile, the last time she was with somebody else was Nema around the springtime of 2022, aka Coachella time, several months before said affair started.
Shut the fuck up right now.
Hold on. We're gonna pull this up right now.
Shut the fuck up right now.
Swear to God.
Where is her lawyer?
That's what I've been wondering this whole time.
Where's her lawyer? Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh, here it is.
Main issue, the main source of our arguments were he needs to break up with Ariana publicly because it's not fair to me, nor is it fair to Ariana. And he would say that I was holding that over his head and actively breaking up with her, and he is taking all the right steps to do that in an amicable way. My God.
Which was a lie.
This guy's delusion. And our biggest argument is when I saw someone else, like I was seeing someone before Tom and I got involved, and this was the person that I was talking about.
Before Tom and her got involved. Before.
Scheana's podcast. He hit me up and we hung out, and I told Tom about it, and he called me a sociopath. And I said that that's not fair because I want to be exclusive with you, but since you're not exclusive to me, hence being in a public relationship, that's not fair to me. You know, like I'm in my 20s. I'm supposed to be living my life. I'm supposed to be dating other people. And he really threw me for a loop because then he accused me of being a sociopath.
Nema says he was talking to Rachel from like April to May.
The only other person she can be talking about that could fit in the Sandoval timeline is
not Peter.
Oliver.
Well, Oliver, she just went on that one date with, but because of the stuff that was going on with the wife.
Mm-hmm. No, that's what I'm saying. The only.
Oh yeah.
The only other person that could be is Oliver, but you had one date, so like that's the only person I could see her saying, "Well, no, it wasn't." You know, what I'm saying? Like trying to correct her timeline. But like, I'm wild. We've been saying this. There's no way it just started. There's no way. There's no way. The way that they looked at each other when she was engaged to James, the way that he was so willing to pay for that proposal, the way, like, I swear to God, it had to have started engagement breakup. I'm telling you. I bet you money. Where's her lawyer?
Where is the fucking lawyer?
Oh my God.
Where is your fucking lawyer? This is an awful lawyer. A horrible lawyer.
Because Ariana can now come in and with her own lawyers who seem way better than the ones that Tom and Rachel have.
But this is why I'm saying in the context of Tom's lawyer's argument, right? You know, now this so-called affair was apparently out in the open. Everybody knew about it. There's nothing confidential about this. This is why she needs to shut the fucking podcast down. She needs to shut the fuck up.
That just made Tom's argument.
She needs to shut the fuck up.
Holy shit.
This is why I say, what is with these Bravo alum and feeling the need to sue Bravo, sue the participants in Bravo shows, and then start a tell-all podcast about it. It's just a recipe for disaster.
You start your tell-all podcast after you've won your lawsuit. After you've won, you can say,
oh my God,
bitch, here's my fucking tell-all.
Everything that she's saying is going to be used against her.
It's been like that for weeks now, for months now. Like, she would say Ariana knew this, and then she would name drop Logan, this person, that person, and then that person comes out and say no, right? She did it with Joe. You would, blah, 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 blah. And Joe would go, oh yeah, we were going out, but I thought it was like...
Having Joe on her podcast was fucking weird too.
Every single week, this woman is saying something that contradicts what she put in that fucking lawsuit.
Yeah. Everything.
Everything she is saying.
Everything has just completely contradicted something that she's said once before, something that she has said on Bethany's podcast.
You can still have your Rachel Goes Rogue podcast, right? You can say, like, guys, because she has listeners. I don't know who they are. I don't know why they're listening. And other than, like, most of us who are just out here, like, recapping and talking shit. But, like, you can say, guys, like, I'm sure you've seen this lawsuit come out, and so for the next little while, like, we're not going to be able to talk about the things that are included in this podcast. I did what you did.
I don't think she did that once.
No, but you know what I mean?
I haven't been actively listening to her podcast, so I don't know, but it doesn't seem like it.
No, but that's what I'm saying. You can say, right, you can keep your podcast going, but avoid this topic so to not interfere with your lawsuit, with your case. You can say, I know that we have been talking about this, but from now on until this is closed, we cannot talk about this. So let's talk about something else. Mm-hmm. You know, the struggles with mental health. There's so many things she can go rogue on. Pageants, I don't know, talk about what it was like to be in the pageant world. Like, there's so many things you could have gone rogue on.
Yeah.
In the means, and then you can come back to this topic if you really need to. You can come back to it later.
Yeah.
When your case is done, either when you've won it or you've settled it out of court or you've lost it. Like, there was a way. There was a way. And I don't understand how her lawyers have not, 1, shut this down, or 2, advised her against it, and 3, why haven't shut it down? Like, is no one in her ear being like, girl, like, stop. The only other things I really have for this episode was
the sperm
party, that conversation with Lally and James.
Sandoval offers for Schwartz to move into the house.
Yeah.
Which Schwartz would be an idiot if he decided to move into that house.
It doesn't sound like he's going to.
No.
He is dumb, but he's smart. Yeah, the only other thing I have, this I really think was really funny. You're a liar, Tom. That's your opinion. Okay. Waiting for him to get a clue. Maybe he never will. Again, we're at the sperm donor party. Tom's moving in. My actual only note on the sperm donor party was that it was very sad and very hard to see Ariana being so incredibly supportive and excited to know that it's not being reciprocated. Mm-hmm. And then the storks on Lala's headscarf was cute.
Oh yeah. Well, I can't say anything bad about Lala's fashion. I will say.
And then also Allie's mom was there, and I want to know more about Allie's mom. She looked fun.
I didn't notice that.
Yes,
Allie's mom was there.
Mm-hmm. She was sitting with Scheana's mom and Lala's mom.
Oh, that's actually really sweet. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, I noticed Scheana's mom right away.
Yeah,
I feel like it's impossible to not notice Scheana's mom.
Yeah.
I hope Scheana's mom is on payroll. Like, she deserves to be at this point.
I wonder if she gets, like, a day rate or something.
She's
been on the show.
For years.
Yeah.
Since probably her first wedding. Mm-hmm. Maybe before then.
Even before then, I think. So then we have Lally. Allie and James talking about marriage and kids.
Which we already know they're going to get married.
Yeah, someone had pointed out on Reddit that something was cut where she said marriage was like a soundbite from... It was edited in. Mm-hmm. And we were all speculating that the conversation...
like it was a Franken bit.
Yeah, like the conversation was edited, obviously. But,
I mean, yeah.
The problem, too, is that they live by the airport, and...
So it's probably hard not to get airport feedback.
So they probably, like, kind of... Someone had said that, like, maybe they're not getting a good edit on their relationship because the sound people and the editors are frustrated that they consistently... have plane feedback, because also too a lot of these like cast like get-togethers are at that house.
Well, maybe they should find James a better house.
But that was my thing. It's I don't know how I feel about them, because when you look at them on the show, I feel like I can't tell if they like each other.
Really?
Sometimes I look at their interactions and I It's not all the time. Sometimes I question, and I'm like, do you even like each other? Because there's no, like, I don't doubt that James loves her.
James, I feel like, definitely loves her.
And I think I get it more from Allie than I get from him. But I also just, like, I feel like we never see them be, like, physically affectionate.
But sometimes we never really not every couple feels the need to be.
No, I know that, but I don't know. Sometimes I look at them and I don't see it. You know what I mean? Like, when you look at Brock and Scheana, like, you can see it. Even when they're not affectionate. Like, I don't know.
Do you think maybe it is one-sided and that James is into Allie more than Allie's into James?
I think so.
Listen, this could be something that Rachel is right about, too.
This conversation really kind of solidified that feeling for me. Was, like, James... And I think too, I don't know what their age difference is. I don't think she's that much younger than him.
I don't think so either.
But I think he's sober, he's settled. Like, I think he is ready for that next phase of adult life. And she is maybe not quite there yet.
Well, you have to remember,
maybe never there.
He's probably just coming up on maybe a year of sobriety since he broke it.
That's true. He broke it.
Because he obviously broke it after breaking up with Rachel and stuff like that. So he's only coming up on just barely a year of sobriety. So it's hard. It's maybe, to give the benefit of the doubt, I think Allie might love him. I think that it's just hard. Yeah, it's just probably hard for her to want to get her hopes up, knowing that he has this baggage.
Yes.
But
also just didn't sound like that's not something that she wants in life. Like, she was saying, I never, all my friends were like, couldn't wait to be a mom one day, and I don't have that thought. Like, I never pictured myself getting married, like, which is totally valid.
Yeah.
But it is not going to last long term with somebody who wants that. And that's, I think, is their only, if they're not on the same page, this is not going to last. And they're just going to be wasting their time and their youth.
Yeah.
Like, James very clearly wants children, wants to get married. And if it's not something she wants, then they should really release each other.
That's true. I mean, look at what happened with Tom and Ariana.
Yeah.
Same
well,
thing.
I don't think for a minute that Tom ever actually wanted children. I think he wanted it because everyone else was talking about it.
But nobody was actively having kids yet.
No.
You know?
I don't know. I don't see this version of Tom Sandoval settling down.
Well, not anymore, no. But, no. I mean, he's pushing.
I don't know. I never really thought of him as someone that was going to be a dad. Like, he never seemed like the type that was ever going to get out of the bar scene enough to be an active father.
Yeah.
True. Like, at least Jax, as shitty as Jax is, like, he seems like a fairly decent participant in Cruz's life and parenting. Like, he's not as...
Because he didn't have a fucking job.
Well, yes, but I mean, come on. Tom doesn't really have a job. Let's be honest.
That's true.
You know, that was my only real takeaway of that scene. Get back on track, because we still have a whole other episode to go through.
Yeah.
Was that they're not on the same page, and it's not a good sign.
Yeah.
I hope they can get on the same page, because I do really, at the end of the day, I do really like them. I think she's good for him. But I guess we'll see. Listen, only time will tell.
Sometimes opposites attract, for sure. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that plays out.
Yes.
Pump is back. Pump is back at Tom Tom, and they're having their very first brunch.
I love that.
Where they are celebrating the release of Scheana's new song, Apples.
Apples! It's kind of catchy. Do you remember over the summer when the song first came out? You and I were vibing.
We were actually, like, jamming to
I was jamming to it for a little bit.
The lyrics were great. I think the song was catchy. It is
catchy. It is, yeah.
It doesn't hit as hard as Emo Good as Gold, but...
Or Good as Gold in general.
But this was fun. This was a fun scene because you then have to watch Scheana confront Sandoval about the lyrics. Rich, how he says, you know, keep profiting off of my pain. Technically, sir, she has been profiting off of Ariana's pain that you inflicted upon her.
You would feel differently if you went through what I went through. Sir, you did it to yourself. You did it to yourself.
Tom Sandoval just wakes up every morning, takes his crazy pills, and he's just off.
Okay, you know in like SpongeBob where it's like with a rainbow, like imagination?
Oh, imagination.
Okay. Consequences. I'm literally just consequences. The way he stormed off, I want someone, please, for the love of God, someone make me a compilation of all the times that Tom Sandoval has stormed out of an argument because he's not getting his way. There's got to be a lot.
So I guess we'll move straight to episode 13. They went in raw dog and no lube. Jax Taylor just shows up at James and Ally's house. No lube.
You know what's so funny about that is that he doesn't even like condoms, and that's why that joke is funny. The praying spray is what him and Brittany used to do. They talked about it on the show. I'm dead. Raw dogging it.
We raw dogged it. No lube.
No lube. No just preparation.
First thing we see.
No foreplay. No nothing.
None of it. Just bite the pillow. I'm going in.
Straight.
Here's Jax Taylor.
He's bloated, red in the face. Probably smells like cigarettes and regret, Jax Taylor.
Anyways. I just really felt strongly about how they brought Jax back into the picture once again.
You gotta ease me into it. Like,
no such thing with Jax Taylor.
Okay, here's the thing: is like
I got jaxed.
Jax. That's the thing. When he was on the show continuously all the time, like you were used to it, but we haven't had this man in like seasons, right? And now all of a sudden, I'm like, he's like thrusted in my face. I don't want it.
So they're talking. Jax, James, Allie. We get that brief little like reminder of like Jackson James's history on the show. Pumptinis!
Cosmopolitans! Pumptinis! Be a good boy, old man.
Yeah. Don't cross me in front of Lisa.
You be a good boy, old man.
But we're talking about Jax getting mad that Katie sees internet rumors. That was one of my notes on here because that's basically exactly what happened.
Get mad on the internet, bro.
Seriously, Katie reads a few internet rumors, and
it's Katie's fault.
Jax just thinks, oh well, this is Katie spreading these rumors. It must be.
Well, that's the thing. He has hated Katie since like fucking season 1.
Since Nam. But while Jax is at James and Allie's, Brittany goes to see Scheana. Brittany in this moment mentions that she and Jax are trying for another baby, which I don't think is really true. Now that we know that they have not been having sex, then we also see Brock. Also out with his friend Luke. I guess probably one of his Australian friends.
Yes.
And Brock
they owned a gym together, I think, pre-pandemic.
Oh,
that's what he was talking about in the scene when the gym closed. He and his friend owned a gym that closed.
I see. And it sounds like Brock kind of explained again, you know, his very valid concerns about, you know, wanting to be able to go out and be able to trust a nanny to watch the baby. So that he too can fill his cup in the same way that Scheana is able to fill hers.
Yes.
Especially being that she is the breadwinner.
Yeah.
And, you know,
he
Brittany and
feel
Scheana
like an equal partner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Brittany and Scheana are talking more about her postpartum OCD.
Oh.
And, you know, the conversations do get a little repetitive, especially when they kind of go back to that rumor that Tom had spread about Brock and Rachel. Because now I guess people like to flood Sheena's comments basically saying, oh, well, watch, Brock's going to do that with Lala.
Why the fuck are people doing that? Guys, why the fuck are we doing that?
It's definitely a lot to have to do that.
That's taking things like way far. That is way far.
Mm-hmm.
Like to put that in the comment, that's a lot of energy.
Jinx.
Like, why are we doing that?
Yeah.
Why are we doing that? I'm not telling you you can't have those thoughts. You can be like, oh, I wonder if like, right? Because like, you are the company you keep. But like, let's not put that in someone's that's so fucked. Because at the end of the day, yes, they are reality TV stars, but this is still a person. She's still somebody's wife. She's still somebody's mother. She's still a whole person. I just feel like maybe we shouldn't be doing that. Maybe we shouldn't be going in her comments, especially now knowing that she suffers so badly from her anxiety and her OCD.
Yeah, don't be contributing to
let's not contribute to
the intrusive thoughts.
No. It's logically anxiety girlies, right? I always say we have two sides of our brains. We have the anxious side and we have the logical side. The logical side of Sheena's brain completely understands that all these rumors are stupid. These comments are dumb. This is not factual. This is not going to happen. She trusts her husband. She loves her husband. But that anxious side is like there. It completely quiets the logic. And like when you have people in your comment section like digging and digging and digging, it just makes that monster like even louder.
Yeah.
It's like turning the volume up to drown out everything else. And like I hate that for her.
Yeah.
Because I know that she can see, and you can see in that scene with Brittany that she was saying that she understands the way that she's thinking right now is not how she should be thinking, but she can't get out of it. And it's like it's sad. Like I feel bad.
Yeah.
I have a lot of sympathy for like this mental struggle that she's going through. And then it also pisses me off that Tom is like out here like throwing a fucking mental health narrative out there every fucking episode, because it's like we have somebody on the show right now struggling with something like very serious. And you're just like
making a whole mockery
of it. Yes.
Yeah. But the next scene, we have Katie and Tom going to a diner, and they're trying to have a friendship whilst also competing over who gets to date Tori. Which I think is just such a silly,
it's so funny,
such a silly storyline for these two to have.
It really,
given their
history.
Get it.
I don't understand. I don't know.
It's
weird.
You couldn't write weird shit like this.
It's
this
so
couple
funny.
who was in a 12-year relationship, 6-year marriage,
dated the same girl,
and then they get a divorce and immediately start dating. Well, not immediately, but a year later start dating the same girl.
Let's text her and see who she texts back first.
So stupid. So stupid. We then get another scene of Scheana and Brock. It's their anniversary. Technically their second anniversary, because by the time we got to their wedding episode last year,
they had already
been married for a year.
There's such a difference between the way she approached this marriage than the way she approached the one with Shay.
Yeah.
Because the fact that they got married and didn't tell anybody because they just wanted to be married already, I really feel like speaks a lot to the
how genuine it is.
The genuine and the potential longevity of it, because I don't know, I really liked that when we found that out.
Well, they got married for the love, and
they just were like, we just wanted to be married already.
Yeah.
And I think that's beautiful. And you could see it in that scene, but I just reminded me when we said the anniversary that I just thought it was really sweet that and then the fact that she didn't say anything. She didn't care about the congratulations.
Which is kind of crazy, given that Scheana loves some attention.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why, like, it feels
real.
Yeah.
They were talking about Summer, and Brock wants to be able to provide for his family, which again makes sense. Mm-hmm. Sheena's just happy that he's a present dad while she is working, and that's something that she finds solace in. But she specifically brings up, that being present with Summer gives him the chance to be a better dad, because, reminder, he already has 2 kids that he'll never, at this point, I believe. There's always a chance that things can change as these kids get older, but based off of the history, based off of what's happened in the past, I don't foresee these 2 children having, or probably, I don't know how old these kids are, but I don't foresee them having a relationship with Brock or Summer at any point in time soon.
No, I said that to you. I think the fact that Summer's name is so close to his other daughter's name, the resentment that they'll feel of seeing their dad blasted all over social media and in the television, and being such a present father to their half sibling, is
all they're ever gonna wonder is why couldn't that be us? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's valid.
It's very valid. But I think he needed to hear that from Scheana. Because you could see that he felt like he wasn't, and she was like, he's like, I want to take the weight off of you. And she's like, but you do.
Like, you take the weight off of, having to also deal with parenting.
Yeah.
Alone.
It was nice to see. I think he needed to hear that from her, that she was feeling the weight lifted already without him having a job. And just the fact that him just being a dad was enough for her. And
he is, I think now he is a good dad.
Oh,
I mean, we said this earlier. They are really great parents.
You could say she was learning her alphabet in the beginning of the episode. She's smart. She can spell her name. She's a smart kid. They're doing a good job.
Yeah, Summer's adorable too.
She is so cute. Oh my god.
I couldn't help but notice too. Not to go back to the last episode for a second, but she was wearing these hoops that have Summer's name on them. And it's
adorable.
It's funny because she wore those exact same earrings the day that she confronted Sandoval, after the affair came out, and they had their little moment. She was literally, and again, I only clocked it because we just watched it. But
I feel like I'd be tainted by those earrings. I'd never be able to wear that outfit ever again.
Now we have the scene of the Toms going for their little tattoo date, and I will say, I hate that I have such a strong disdain for the Toms. I think that's very clear in how we've spoken on this podcast since we met you guys. But I will say the car scene was a vibe. When you meet up with your bestie for happy hour type of vibe, and they're just bopping their heads in the car.
That whole scene is when the Toms are like that. I want more of. I want that. I want to see that. I'm so tired of hating them.
It almost makes you forget that they are such shitty people.
Yes, for a glimpse, you're just seeing these 2 boys be the ultimate bromance. And he's falling off the chair and they're being silly and they're jumping into it's sad because it's we used to have that all the time with them, and now it's so clouded.
They used to get tattoos on their asses. Their
it felt so boyish trip, and
if we could have gotten the Toms without ever being in a relationship.
Oh my god!
Maybe even Jax could have been there.
All the time. These 2 stooges this all the fucking time. Hysterical.
They could have had their own show of just being crazy single guys,
Yeah.
and we would have watched it.
But then I loved that scene. Just felt so nostalgic to the old days.
Yeah,
and it was nice, but then it was also sad because you're wow, they're actually the shittiest people ever.
It's wow, But I will say I love that Schwartzy felt like getting tattoos of his dogs.
Butter and Gordo.
I love it
You
because
got one?
I too have tattoo of my dog's ears. And this is literally my favorite tattoo in existence because I love my dog so much.
Roxy has you guys never get to see her because when she comes in, she's off. She's
barely makes
literally
it off camera.
just out of frame, like just out of frame. She's got the cutest fucking ears. They're so floppy.
I love
her
it.
Her and Bubby have like the cutest floppy ears.
She gets very expressive with them
She
too,
does.
so it's like, oh, it's so fun to watch.
I love her so much. She's my second favorite dog. Obviously, my own dog. Obviously, my son is my favorite dog.
We got to get you on like the dog tattoos club.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of breeze past the tattoo scene. Minus, actually, you know what? Fuck it, because now I'm thinking about it. We'll laugh a little bit about Tom falling backwards in his chair. Sandoval.
He was so dramatic about it.
But I love that he just laid on the floor and stayed defeated. Allie and James talk about the struggles with integrating Hippie into the house with the cat, and and it's manifesting in the sense of, you know, they have a wedding coming up for one of Allie's really close friends. Mm-hmm. James wants to go to the wedding, but he's hesitant because he just does not want to leave Graham alone with, you know, somebody new. Kind of the same sense of like Scheana not wanting to leave Summer with a stranger. And honestly, I kind of get it. Mm-hmm. I think it's a little extreme to, you know, just skip the wedding. However, if we're remembering, right, everybody talking about, because it wasn't just Rachel that talked about Graham, Hippie, formerly known as Graham's behavioral problems. Ariana has also talked about said behavioral problems. So, you know, obviously Graham is a very particular case. So it's kind of hard to, you know, be so hard on James over it because it's like, yeah, you don't really want Graham to be left with somebody that's not going to be able to handle him.
No, and you have to remember too that he thought he lost his dog. Mm-hmm.
And he thought he was never going to see him again.
And now he's got him back. I can understand having it and not wanting him out of your sight for a little while.
Same.
Right? And like, my dog is like the sweetest thing in the world. Like, I've never had behavioral problems with him. Like, he's a good dog, but like, even I have anxiety about like leaving him for like a day trip. Yeah. Like being gone from like for longer than a couple hours. I'm like, I need someone to check on him. Like, I understood it. And I kind of hated that the girls were like harping on him about it instead of like, and I could see his frustration when they like weren't getting it.
He was crying. He fully broke down.
Yes,
everything.
And it hurt my heart because it's like, I don't think they were realizing that like he is like, he's hurt and he's got fears. Like he lost his baby like forever, and then by some miracle got him back.
Literally by some miracle.
And like, he's just starting to behave, and I could understand the fear of like, well, if he bites someone again, that's it. He's done. Yeah. It's over. Like, that's it. So like, I get it, but I also get the girls like, you can't pause your life. Yeah. But like this
feels like it should have been like somewhat of an exception.
Well, that's like, and he said by Christmas time, I hope to be he literally had a compromise, right? Yeah. Give him a few more months. And I don't think that was unreasonable.
I don't think so either.
No.
Because he only just got the dog back.
We're like maybe a month of having this dog. Mm-hmm. And I feel like there need to be a little more grace in this situation, but this group doesn't really have a lot of that, so it's not surprising that they were just like, we'll just leave him. Well, what about your partner?
And naturally, Lala was the most vocal. Not surprising.
No. She has a lot of opinions.
Always. Especially when they're not her place to have them. Mm-hmm. Also, because I wrote just in my note here, Ariana and Dan. It was in this moment we realized, like, oh my God, we really barely saw anything of Ariana this episode so far. Because we saw, like, the brief glimpse of her on FaceTime with Dan in the very beginning of the episode before, like, we saw Jax So, like, I guess that was our foreplay, I guess, to warm us up before seeing Jax. It was almost kind of like a psych.
It wasn't enough. I wasn't ready.
You think you're going to watch Ariana this scene? Nope, here's some Jax Taylor.
I still wasn't ready.
But now she's at the gym. Thank goodness she actually gets to use her gym. She's on FaceTime with Dan. Craig, who is Sandoval's assistant, is coming in while she's talking about inviting Dan to San Francisco. Tom apparently has a meeting with the realtor downstairs. So this is showing at least some subtle hints that Tom actually might possibly, and I say might because we know that he likes to put a little facade on every now and again, he might possibly be looking for a new place to live because, oops, my financial situation has now changed.
We had speculated when we realized that she hadn't been on the episode for a while. We went and deep dived real quick to find when Dancing with the Stars started because they had said we figured out it was August by the fact that it was their Scheana's anniversary, and then we were like, oh shit, Dancing with the Stars. Maybe that's why she's not on the episode. And I'm pretty sure that's probably why she wasn't in most of the episodes. Pretty sure she was in Dancing with the Stars, like, pre-production.
Yeah, because I was going to say, they definitely trained for a few weeks, meeting their partners. And
getting into it.
Yeah.
And, like, learning the basics before they, like... Because there has to be some kind of training before you get thrust into, like, learning a new dance every week. Yeah. There's got to be some kind of... So I have a feeling that's why she wasn't on this episode, in the first part of that episode, because she probably had, like, Dancing with the Stars shit to...
Yeah. Which is kind of cool.
It's so fun.
It feels very meta.
It does.
Like, we already watched, obviously, like, the whole season of Dancing with the Stars with her in it, and now we're getting to... It's like we're going back in time.
Yeah. It's like, wow, this was... At this time last year, you and I were on a countdown until Dancing with the Stars. And, like, it's like we forgot that they had, like, filmed. Oh.
Because, like, obviously we saw a bunch of, like, posts and spoilers and stuff for the season, so it's like... Okay.
But it's like...
We're filming Vanderpump Rules.
It's like you forget that they're all interconnected like that. Like, it's all happening at the same time.
Right.
It's like when you're in history class and you realize that these 5 historical events actually happened within the same, like, decade.
Yeah.
And they're not, like, 15 gajillion years apart.
Right. And you're just like, oh, shit.
You're like, oh.
There's a lot going on right now.
This person was alive when this person was alive. Like, that's how it felt. You're like, oh. It felt very, like, oh, that's right.
So that was super quick, very brief scene. That's probably the most of Ariana that we'll see. I mean, she does show up in the next scene, but obviously this does not center so much around her.
No, she really wasn't, like...
the main focus, not this time. But we have brunch at Sir, which we haven't gotten in a while. We used to get brunch at Sir all the time.
We don't really get Sir all the time. We don't get Sir
now,
anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
They tried very hard to not have my boy Peter be shown. I got Guillermo. At least I had I got a Guillermo fix.
Was this our first time seeing Guillermo in like
really long time.
5 years, 6 years?
His style has changed a little. He was dressing a little differently.
Good for him.
I love that. He's a little Guillermo.
It's that Sir money.
Yeah.
But of course, here we go again. Jax Taylor is back because he's hosting a brunch day with James Kennedy. I want to know who set that up.
It sounded like in that scene Guillermo.
Right?
It sounded like he had gone through Guillermo because he knew he couldn't go through Lisa.
True. Oh yeah, and that's how we go straight into like the tensions between Jax and Lisa. Because it goes back to Jax treating this whole shindig like this is his fucking show.
2 months before this, and I didn't realize that he has been, that they showed the timestamp of the last time he had talked shit about Lisa. And they're like, what does Lisa do? Oh, she just sits there in the chair. I didn't realize that he was still talking shit about Lisa so recently.
Wait, when was that podcast again?
It had said 2 months ago.
So basically
2 months before he was on Vanderpump Rules, he was telling podcasters that Lisa is just a figurehead and she doesn't do anything.
She's a prop.
She's a prop is essentially what
he called her a prop.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like as if she didn't completely put together this entire show based on her restaurant and
get
her staff.
Your ass fired.
And he has the gall to feel the need to be like, oh, well, you haven't checked on me and Brittany and my kid, and it's because you talk shit about her all the time.
Why am I going to check on someone that doesn't like me?
I'm not going to check, and also never, like, no. You were probably my least favorite employee.
She hated Jack. She's never once Like,
and she's given Jax more than his fair share of chances.
Oh, yeah.
We can talk shit on Lisa, too, for many other reasons, but the one thing that she always seems to get right is leaving no mercy for Jax Taylor.
No.
And apparently it took Jax 4 minutes from hearing Tom Schwartz talk about Sandoval offering him a place to live at their house, or his house, to then run to Ariana and say, oh, I heard Schwartz might be moving into your house.
It's so messy.
4 minutes.
It's so messy, and for what? This man really was like, I'm back on reality TV. Head first.
We're filming The Valley right now.
He's so funny. He literally was like, he was like, I gotta make TV. There was no, like, because Schwartz literally had said, don't say anything. And he was like, nope. Gotta have my moment.
As
in the
per
sun.
usual.
So fucking funny.
And
4 minutes. 4 minutes.
Yeah. So there was that. And then we shift from brunch to a pool party. Well, I don't think it was a pool party. But
I think
like
it was just like a gathering.
Yeah, a post-brunch party at James and Allie's house. And then James has his breakdown over leaving Hippie with a stranger, which was extremely relatable. And then, of course, the girls are going all like, you need to go to this wedding. I wonder if he did ever end up going to that wedding. And in the same scene, we see a Jax versus Katie showdown. Jax is mad that Katie reads the internet. Shock. I have feelings on this too. And it's really just because of the fact that I love that Jax feels the need to use Katie as a scapegoat. And he felt the need to then bring Brittany into it. And he's like, oh, well, why don't you talk to Brittany anymore? And she's like, because I don't fucking like you. I get why Katie felt the need to kind of branch off. And she did kind of go into it a little bit because she said part of it had to do with Stassi's wedding.
Yes.
And, the whole situation with not going to Stassi's wedding, this, that, and the other.
And talking shit about Beau and Stassi and the wedding in a group chat that Beau was in.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Schwartz and Ariana.
I just went and looked at Allie's because I couldn't figure out if he went to the wedding from James's, so I went to Allie's. And I adore her. She went from not posting literally ever, like she's barely ever posting, to like all of a sudden...
Well, yeah, she's got a music career now. She can't afford to
not
post.
As soon as she was with James, she was posting all the time.
I wrote my notes here saying, when did Ariana and Schwartz get on better terms? Because, Schwartz pulled Ariana aside to tell Ariana about the offer that Sandoval had made to him, about him moving into the house. And it almost seemed as though their friendship never really ended, just based off of the way that conversation went. Mm-hmm. It was very odd and very strange.
Mm-hmm. That, like, it looks like, at least from her, it's like she wants to be friends with him, but she can't forget the way that he betrayed her.
Yeah, because he did. I mean, even he was kind of supporting Sandoval's stories by saying, oh, well, she's been so dismissive over you and has been belittling you, basically mirroring everything that Sandoval was saying.
Yes.
Almost as if he was being fed a script.
Because he was.
Yeah, he was. Covering up the affair. And
I think everyone in the Bravo fan world, like we've all said millions of times that Schwartz without Sandoval is wonderful.
Yeah.
A Schwartz without Sandoval.
A big, lovable idiot.
Yes. But they're so codependent on each other that, like, he can't, like, we've seen moments where, like, he didn't defend Tom, or he stood up for the girls, or, like, he's had glimmers of times where you see where he's not, like, feeding the Sandoval monster and defending this man, and you're like, you see glimmers of hope that, like, Schwartz could be his own person, and, like, all these, and then he just, like, falls back into it. But, like, detach, and Schwartz is, like, a lovable idiot. But it's like Tom, like, pulls him down.
Yeah.
And it's, like, the same with Ariana. Now that she's free, she's, like, blossoming.
Yeah.
Because she's not weighted down by this toxicity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has a whole cocktail book now.
She does. Look at it. It's so nice. Look at her. She's so pretty.
And then, of course, in comes Tom Sandoval.
Can we talk about just the way that Ariana was like, I'm going to go check on Scheana.
Oh, and then
we saw that Tom was right there and just, nope.
Skirting on out of there. Maybe I'll come back later.
Iconic.
We see Scheana and Brock start to argue because Scheana wants to just go read with her baby. Mm-hmm. Brock wants to stay and hang out, which fine, makes sense. Mm-hmm. But then Sandoval comes in. How did they even start this conversation?
Honestly, I couldn't, like, all of a sudden, it just felt like...
It escalated. It just suddenly escalated.
Yeah, I think she brought up her music video, her song again. I think that's what started it, was she was like, did you finally listen to the song?
Yeah.
And I think that's what started it. But, like, I don't know, because, like, all of a sudden they were, like, fighting about going home, and I had the thought of, why can't one of you just Uber home later? Like, why do you have to leave together? And then... all of a sudden, we're yelling at each other, and you were a mistress, and you're like, it was all of a sudden, like, I whiplash.
I just remember honestly feeling the entire time like, hey, Kyle Chan, step in, you know? Tell your friend to shut the fuck up.
You really think he's going to do that?
He should have.
He's not going to.
He should have. Because Kyle Chan has always somehow been seen as, like, the voice of reason.
Well, he clearly is not anymore. He bought right into that because he didn't stop him from having an affair. He didn't do shit. So I don't know where the reason went. The reason's gone. Maybe his cup of reason is empty. And so he's got no, like, I don't know how you see a man yelling at a woman and you just stand there.
And you're cool with it.
And you're cool with it.
That's why I was like,
it's gross.
Excuse me. The fact that you feel the need to bring something up from 2006... it was bad enough, right, when you brought something up from 10 years ago in 2013. But now you're going to start throwing you were the other woman once. From back in 2006, we're talking almost 20 years.
I was just about to say almost 20 years ago.
It had been nearly 20 years.
She was 20 years old.
Again, you got to bring up everybody else's past. And she's like, great, yeah, I was 20 years old. That was 2006. You're still 40. Doing it now.
You're 40.
And we're in 2024. What are you doing?
You're 40 years old doing this shit.
And he's like, yeah, it's been 6 months. Can't we move on from that? Okay.
So says the man that just brought up something from 20 years ago.
Literally.
What's your argument? Are we going to forget the past, or are we going to bring it up every chance you get because you don't have another argument?
Like, pick a lane, dude.
It was so gross. And the fact that Lala was just sitting there.
Like, I would have lost my mind.
Just sitting there. This is your bestie, your best friend. Right? You have all these opinions and all of these, you had no Scheana went in there and defended your ass in Lake Tahoe, and you can't even return the fucking favor.
Could not even be bothered.
You couldn't be bothered to get your ass out of that fucking chair.
And you know who did?
Ariana. Yes. Yeah.
Ariana ran to the front door to be there with her and
gave
her a hug.
Storms away crying. Lala didn't even move a muscle. There was no I go with Ariana to check on her because she doesn't care. And it was that really pissed me off because she's like, this is your supposed best friend, the one that you have. This is your ride or die right now, and you didn't get up to defend her. Now I'm thinking about it. It like feels like it feeds that production plant narrative. It's like, don't get involved. Don't go and fight against Tom.
Leave it be.
You can't fight Tom.
You're supposed to be friends with Tom.
You're in your soft girl era. We're friends with Tom now. You can't go and fight against Tom. You can't defend Scheana. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it was gross.
That was an intense note to end the episode on. You know?
I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
Shook it.
I thought they were really just going to leave it at Jax and Katie fighting. Like, oh, okay, they teased it just so they can, leave it as like a little cliffhanger for next week. Nope, they just had to take it just a few more notches up.
I do really appreciate, though, Brock immediately going to defend his wife. He should. He got his ass out of that pool so fast. He was chilling on that floaty, yelling. They were fighting, and he was on his floaty. He didn't get up to...
Got right next to her and was like...
Say that, yeah. But I thought it was...
Say that shit again.
It was so funny, because he's like, couldn't be bothered to get up out of the pool in his little floaty to fight with his wife. But the second Tom Sandoval is pulling some shit on Scheana, that man was out of the pool. He's throwing his shirt back on. What the fuck are you saying? He'll get out of the pool for that.
That's a good husband.
He'll get out of the pool for that.
I'm fine with that. That was great husband.
Well, because their fight was so stupid. Like, if he doesn't want to leave, he doesn't...
It's the same argument they always have.
The same argument
right?
they always have.
Like,
and I think she has to compromise. Like, if he wants to stay, you don't always have to leave with your partner. Like, if you're out with friends and you want to go home, I mean, I think there's some times where, like, you can go home and your partner will come home later.
So I agree with that. I think why she wanted him to go back with her, though, kind of goes back to their anniversary dinner, because they talked about how they don't really have a lot of time to be together.
So, like, when she's in bed, like, that can be our time.
That could be, like, our time.
Okay, I didn't think about that. I was just thinking about, like, why can't he just, like, Uber home later?
In any normal day, yes. I feel like that would make sense.
But this is right on the cusp of them having that conversation. Okay.
Yeah,
you're right. Okay.
Because they were just kind of like, like, you go off and do your thing, I have to do my thing, and then we work, and then you're watching the baby, and then, so it's like, parenting is hard. I don't rush. I don't rush to be involved in that.
No.
But you want to be able to soak up as much time with your partner as possible, and I'm sure it gets a lot harder with a kid. So that explains that. But I mean, the fact that he was immediately supportive of Scheana obviously shows the stability of their relationship.
God, that fucking pool, that guy,
like a bat out of hell.
The fuck you say? And he did the same thing. Was it in Tahoe? He's
Probably.
done it a couple times this season. Where
he's gone back and forth with Sandoval a bunch this season.
Oh, he has not hesitated to, like, stand up for his wife, and I think that's, like, a really nice redeeming quality to Brock right now.
And you know who else did though? James.
I'm like, James was like, dude, what the fuck you doing?
Like, what? You keep doing this shit.
Yeah,
they just fought like 2 days ago because of the conversation they had about Rachel's podcast.
Yes, and then they apologized to each other, and James was like, and they had that nice, and then here's Tom's doing it again, and James was like, bro, again, it's like one step forward, like 15 back. Yeah.
He just doesn't know how to evolve, right?
He doesn't.
For as much shit as he'll give somebody like Lala, right, not wanting her to evolve, he refuses to evolve. He just wants to stay at the level that he's at and just pick at everybody else apart and make them just stay down at his level with him. That's why you can't evolve. Because, see, you're like me. You have to stay down here.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's his inability to do anything but bring up the past is just, like,
poisonous. Like,
that's his argument, is to bring up other people's past mistakes. And that's, like, the shittiest argument I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah, this is why I'm hoping. I know we've said it a few times. I know that the whole internet has probably said it a few times. I really hope this is the end. I'm sure it won't be. I think now that Something About Her is opening, I think this kind of guarantees a season 12. But I'm just so tired.
I am.
I'm tired.
I am. I hope that, though, if we get another season, they see the feedback that they're getting and
they don't care.
I want to be hopeful, okay? I want to be hopeful. But
oh my God, you know what I'm thinking? I hope that they do feel the need to take something somewhat seriously, especially after the red wedding that they caused in the Real Housewives world. Bravo went on like a whole firing spree.
Yes, they just fired Crystal and Kyle.
Well, Kyle's not official yet. The rumor with Kyle is that
it's not.
She can't come back to Real Housewives of Beverly Hills unless she opens up about her relationship with Morgan. And to me, that comes across as icky, because what if she is dating Morgan and is not ready to come out yet?
They're not. I don't think they're friends anymore.
Really?
And Morgan, if I'm not mistaken, has wiped Kyle completely out of her Instagram.
Then supposedly Morgan had a song come out that was written about Kyle.
Okay.
Very weird.
Why are we trying to out somebody?
That's where my thoughts were. I'm like, but what if she's not ready? Like,
that's not okay.
That's the tea there. So
that's really gross. I thought we were just firing. Like, I didn't realize it wasn't official. That's really gross.
There were a bunch of other housewives fired, though.
Crystal got fired, which I'm really upset about, because Crystal was like the only voice of reason on on Beverly Hills right now. I didn't see the other ones, but it's not shocking to me.
Her name was Robin Dixon.
Oh, I don't know which one. I think that's Potomac or Atlanta or something.
Yeah, I think Potomac, Atlanta, and I guess Beverly Hills have seen firings.
Okay, so then I don't know the other ones because I don't watch Potomac.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know me. I'm not a Housewives girly. I just see it on my gram.
Well, you know what? This is ending soon. The Housewives of New Jersey is starting soon.
Oh, Christ. How many seasons of New Jersey?
There's a lot.
Oh, fuck me.
But we're going to need something to fill this void.
Oh, my God.
We can't just have the podcast die. We'll shift over to another Bravo show with the Real Housewives of New Jersey.
I have to mentally prepare myself. I still need to jump back into Salt Lake.
Oh, you really do.
I fell off after like 5 episodes.
Okay, well listen, we can always start New Jersey and I can just like fill you in, right? Because I haven't watched it really. I watched last season, but I haven't watched in like years, right? But like you can just like sleuth the internet for like the gist, and you'll be fine.
I guess it could.
Because like we're gonna have to fill this void with something, and I think there is no better peak Bravo show than the Real Housewives of New Jersey.
I just know how much Bravo loves to show their flashbacks, you know, and I want to be in on it. I want to be in on the flashbacks. That's why I'm saying I'm gonna be this is a commitment that I am going to have to make.
I'll tell you right now how many seasons of the Real Housewives of New Jersey there are. I can't type. It's very late.
What season does Teresa flip the chair?
Oh, that's like season
1. Or
one.
the table.
That's season 1.
Okay, good.
19 times. There are 14 seasons.
Oh, fucking Christ.
Yeah.
What are they each, like 22 episodes or something?
Yeah.
Oh my
19,
God.
17, 15, 18. This one doesn't have the number. Oh, this is 19. 22, season 5. Yeah. Well, you'll get all the tea. You'll get Caroline, Teresa going to jail.
Oh, shit.
Danielle Staub.
They let Teresa back on the show after she went to jail?
Yes. So
I knew she was obviously still on the show, but I
her
kind of forgot about that part.
Her and her husband Joe, the whole trial was on the show. Like he went to jail first. She went to jail first because her sentence was shorter. And when they were both convicted, I believe it was tax fraud.
Yeah.
When they were both convicted, she got a lighter sentence because they argued that she didn't know all the details because she was just the wife, right? So she got a shorter sentence. So she went first because Joe had the potential to be deported after his sentence was served.
And he was, right?
Yes. So she went first. She was in jail for a couple months. And she obviously, when she was in jail, she wasn't on the show. And then when she was out of jail, she came right back to the show. She was right back on the show.
This almost makes me wonder if Salt Lake would end up bringing back Jen Shaw when she's out
100%.
of jail.
100%.
Ooh.
100%.
Oh, man. What a predicament.
Yeah. So they brought her right back, and then Joe immediately went to jail. So they did it in a way, the courts were kind of nice about it, so this way the kids weren't, because they had young children at the time. The girls are a little bit older now. But the girls were younger when they went to jail. So instead of
in the morning,
yes,
think about so many things.
So they did it where they didn't serve their sentences at the same time. So Teresa went first because hers was shorter, and then Joe served his sentence so that they had a parent at all times.
Well, that's really nice.
Yes,
it's very lenient.
Yes, and then it was like 6 months before I think like 6 months before Joe was going to be released. They weren't certain if he was getting deported or not. It wasn't set in stone when he was sentenced. And then towards the end of his sentence, they were like, yeah, you're out.
Yeah.
You're gone. So he moved back. He had to go back to Italy. I believe they tried to make it work for a little bit, and then they just really, it wasn't going to work because he can't come back to the United States. She wasn't willing to leave the United States.
Makes sense.
So they divorced. And the girls go out and visit him in Italy, or they meet up somewhere in the Caribbean.
Yeah, everybody's all good.
Yeah. He's very active in the girls' lives still. And now Teresa is married to somebody else,
who apparently also seems to be filled with his own controversy.
He is gross.
Yikes!
I actually miss Joe. Yeah, and then there's the whole drama with Teresa and her brother and her brother's wife.
Mm-hmm.
That's always fun. But I'm always Team Alyssa on that one. I think Teresa has a weird enmeshment with her brother, and it didn't matter who the wife was. She wasn't gonna like the wife.
Yeah.
You'll see it if I convince you to do this. You'll see it. Yeah.
I gotta take several deep breaths before I go into this madness. God, let me finish Salt Lake.
Yeah, that's fun. That's only like 4 seasons, I think.
Well, this was a really fun double recap.
It was, yes.
Hopefully we're done doing the doubles because I am fucking tired.
I think we are. I think we're good.
Unless there's no other unforeseen circumstances, but
knock on wood, I think we're okay.
Yes, at least for a good while.
For a good while. Mm-hmm.
But thank you guys for joining us again for another episode of Pumped Up Tea. I forgot to fucking do it again. I was literally just about to tell you forgot to do it again. I forgot it again. You know what? If you make it to the end, then you deserve to be following us anyway. It's fine.
And you've got it to the end. I'm pretty sure you probably already follow us.
Yeah, this is actually probably very true. But just in case, if you're not already, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Pumped Up Tea. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Pumped Up Tea. Join our Patreon for funsies. I'm basically just accumulating a bunch of unused stuff. Mm-hmm. I've been using my hard drive now to keep all of our raw footage, so I'll be playing around with that a lot more. And, I'll just let out a bunch of the exclusive content on the Patreon, and, we'll have our fun with that. Yay! But in the meantime, thanks for joining me.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.